Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 14 of our Diverse Stories podcast. Today, Elliott Headley and myself, Miranda Orth, will be covering questions that we've got by email, and the topic is called Questions and Answers.
Yeah.
We'll start off with just answering each question. Our first question is from Michael Shea, who is from Toronto, and he asks, "Hello, Miranda and Elliott. Great work with your podcasts. I have caught some of them on YouTube. I have a few questions for your upcoming Q&A episode. What is the most important thing to you personally in doing your podcasts? What do you admire most and why? This can be someone, who do you admire the most and why? This can be someone you know personally or well-known figure. What is the one thing that we can do to make the world a better place for everyone?"
Just start with the first one.
What's your answer to this first question, Elliott?
For me, I
Yeah.
think the most important thing is have a good planning structure. Like you have to plan what to do beforehand when you go on the podcast. Like I usually plan dates with Miranda and titles and etc. It's
Mine,
also it's also
yeah,
important to have guests.
yeah, to mix it up a little bit so it's not so boring.
What do you think of number two,
The
Miranda?
Not quite yet. I haven't answered the first one.
Okay.
My answer for the first one with first question is to basically, I would say when you're um um in the process when you're doing podcast stuff, the process I actually also go for is to really think about what you want to include in being inclusive and what you want to say in the podcast to show that you want inclusiveness from like when you're talking amongst yourselves, and what the theme is for that. Like our theme has been about disabilities, right?
Yeah,
So there are
each,
themes in every episode.
each different. Well, there's thousands of different podcasts out there. It could be about disabilities. It could be about news. It could be whatever, right?
That's right. Yeah, I was just elaborating on some of it to make it look like a interesting answer.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Elliott, what's your answer for this one of who do you admire the most and why?
For me, I admire my mom. She's a great person to have in my life, and she kind of taught me important things about caring about your friends and family.
For just having a lot of my family around uh to connect with by FaceTime or something like that, because and especially my dad because I'm with him a lot. Next one is what's your thinking, Elliott, on this one here? One thing that we can do to make the world a better place for everyone, since we're talking about inclusiveness a lot in our program.
That is a big question. So, if you want to make everything nice and big, nice and shiny, it can. It doesn't take one whole snap and everything is all better in an instant. It takes time and patience to get everything back to it once was.
And it takes more people than just one person. It takes more people. And there's my other thought on that one too is like there's a lot of effort that has to be. Effort is used a lot here to make things work. Like vaccines, for example, right?
Yeah.
And just generally big things you want to see change and stuff like that. And like one of them I would say is like not worry about like what people think so much in terms of politics, because not everyone will have the same opinion.
No, they don't. People have different opinions in politics.
Yeah, and that's what we didn't want to get into here, except for today.
Yeah.
So the next one we have is from Daryl from Australia says, "Hi Elliot, and nice to meet you, Miranda. I have watched most of your podcasts. Well done. Some really good stuff in there, and I love it when you have guests too. It really mixes it up. I have a few questions for you both. What is the most memorable out of the ordinary thing either of you have ever done that you're willing to share? Do you both have pets? If so, what are their names and can you introduce them to us on a future episode? Question 3. Favorite movie or TV series and why?
Should I answer that first question?
You can start with answering question 1 and then I'll answer question 1.
The most out of ordinary thing I did was when I was 8 years old and I was on a floaty in a festival and I sang "No Business Like Show Business." Yeah.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The person who was on the floaty with me was the owner of Bijou Angels, is a clothing store in Vancouver.
That's main of ordinary thing I do is like speaking in public in front of many audience members, and I don't get scared of that either.
Yeah.
And neither would I with like climbing heights to a certain degree.
So, what do you think of number 2 question about pets?
I had cats when I was younger. Their names were Abby and Allie.
Both eggs.
I named Allie after one of my elementary school classmates. And I don't know the origin of the first Abby name. So, yeah. And what was I know you had a dog previously, Elliott, and then you have a couple other pets.
I had cats, I had goldfishes, I had so many pets over the years, but right now I have bunnies. Yes, bunnies. And their names are Boo and Bun. Boo
what's the origin of their names? Just random fun names?
Yeah, something that's easy to remember.
Yeah.
Boo is more adventurous, like super easy to go with, and Bun is super shy.
Oh, that's the personalities.
Yeah.
Well, here's a story about one of our cats when I was younger. Sure. One of them, Abby, she would be on the deck, climbing, I don't know, just wandering around, and sometimes she would eat broccoli, which is not normally a cat food, but she just would wander around and sometimes eat it.
Maybe I should show Boom Bun on a future episode.
Unfortunately, I don't think I can show any pets here on future episode because I don't have any pets now.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite movie or TV show?
Yeah.
Mine would have to be Bruce Almighty because I love his funny quote of, "That's the way the cookie crumbles." And just in general, he's very funny with his movies.
Yeah.
And what's yours, Elliot? I think you mentioned it recently too.
Yeah. So my movie I liked the original one, not the sequels. The original movie, Dragonheart, when I was a child, because it's a really good cast of actors I liked back then. Like Sean Connery was a really good actor in that movie. Well, he's mostly a dragon, so it's mostly voiceover stuff, but it was a good film. There's a few funny moments. Yeah. I still to this day I like Dragonheart, the original one.
Okay, that's really interesting. Huh. We've got another question here from Nick, who is from England. And he says, "Hi, Miranda and Elliot." And do you want to read the rest of it, Elliot?
Just try to find his. Yeah.
Okay.
There's so many pieces of paper on my side. I just like, hi Miranda Elliot. Just to say I'm enjoying your shows. Apart from the football, horses, and the other injury stories. Thanks, Nick. Thanks. You both seem natural compared to the force chat. In the force chat, in a studio environment. I'm wondering if there is the way forward for chat shows. On one hand, you are not distracted by the audience and their responses, but on the other hand, you don't get to hear the laughter. Is this the disadvantage for you?
The next part says, I'm going to read part of this with you, Elliot, because there are multiple questions here spread out. What does the future hold for Miranda and Elliot? Are you looking to be a chat show host, chat show hosts on prime time TV, or does this more cozy environment suit your personalities? Do you have any advice for new podcasters out there? Would you publish an e-book giving guidance and highlighting potential mistakes along the way? As you have both played football before, would you be watching the European Championships, Euros? Who do you think will win? Very best wishes to you both, Nick, from England.
Yeah. That's an interesting question, Nick. Depends. Like, if we make more seasons, we will get more stories and even more views. Like, it depends if you guys want us to keep going with season 2 when it was around.
Yeah, and I think the part about shows form that we want to do would be just the typical type. We don't find it a problem with no laughter from audience members, and we like responses we get. Yeah. So that doesn't bother us, right?
Yeah, it's fine. And plus, people laugh at our banter all the time on YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah. Regarding the football, which we also know as soccer, right, Elliot? We both have played soccer. Nick is right about that. But I'm not necessarily going to be watching the Euros coming up on TV, as that's not a big interest of mine to do for the soccer stuff. I was only interested in watching it for my brother's soccer games.
Yeah.
Because I had to go with my dad. I didn't have anyone to, there was no one else to look after me.
Who you feel will win The only team I know from England is Chelsea because that's my uncle's team he loves. But
You're going to be watching it on TV as you're from what it sounds like.
no, I'm just saying the only team I know is Chelsea. So
Yeah.
that's my fair knowledge of sports teams in England.
Yeah. Well, my dad likes watching football or soccer, whatever you want to call it, right? And in terms of the Euros, he probably would want I forgot a couple of the names too. I know you said Chelsea, but there's another couple teams as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd want one of them to win.
Uh,
So that's from Nick. Your brother Jack, right?
yeah.
From Vancouver. Do you want to read that question from
Yeah.
your brother, Elliott?
From Jack, he asks, my question is, what does it feel like when you miss your meds?
Jack?
Yeah.
Come on. That's a personal question.
Like for me, I rarely miss my meds, but if I do, I just feel tired and exhausted, to be honest.
I've never missed my meds. The only time maybe would be if I lost a pill, but then I find it anyway, so I don't really miss my meds.
Yeah.
So, and Jack's from Vancouver.
Yeah.
So there's that one. A question from your mentor Michelle from Vancouver, right, Elliott? She's from Vancouver.
Yeah.
Her question is, hi, Elliott. I'm curious about what progress you feel that the disability movement is making recently. I, for one, am noticing a lot more representation, etc. But what more is needed? What is your dream for people living with disabilities that informs your work/show? What do you think about that, Elliott, since you know her best?
Yes, there's progress for people with disabilities to have jobs, but still there is some stigma to people with disabilities.
Yeah, there's yeah, that's right. And you saw that from your experience at CapU, right?
Well, it's just a few people, but it's not all bad though. Bad apples I capped. There's some good apples.
It's one of my advocating jobs I do for just trying to make sure people with disabilities aren't really alone, because the last thing you want is to not have another advocate and who can relate and like not understand anything.
And also having a dream, that's a good thing. You can dream to like be an astronaut or be an inventor or something like that. Dreams can help people.
Yep. And there does need to be a lot more awareness regarding disabilities type of stuff. There shouldn't be any judging, label, statistics.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
And not fair. And that can be part of bullying if you don't take it the right way, if you don't watch out.
Yeah, it's true. Like our work/show, we're trying to like inform people what it's like for our point of view.
And so that other people's point of view can be we can hear their point of view as well and kind of get two sides.
Yeah, basically we like the big voice starts helping the little people who don't have a voice.
Yep. Okay, so that was from her. And this guy said, right? So what is I think there is a guy from Vancouver, Sid.
Yeah.
And he is asking, what's your favorite color?
For me, it's red.
Yep, that's your answer there. Mine is that's a hard one. I thought I had a set color like you, red or pink, but I guess it's teal blue because it's a mixture of green and yellow, and it turns pretty well teal. Turns out pretty well.
All right.
Kyle asks, what's the process of preparing for podcast like? I think that goes back to the answer Elliott gave earlier.
Yeah.
So it's that same answer that we said for Nick's question.
Yeah.
Megan from USA says, what's your favorite play or musical that you she has a few questions for us. So
like
first one is, what's your favorite play or musical that you have acted in? Nia, have you done any of, and I guess you may have done some, Elliott?
I done one musical back in the day before I met you. I was in one act and I did No Business My Show Business. No Business My Show Business. Yeah. Top hat, bow tie, stick. Yeah.
Before we met at our production place, right?
That's the only musical memory I remember.
The Incredible Vanishing. So I played two parts, the shop girl, and I also played the drain classmates. So basically, classmates meaning like with the rest of my class, we were sitting in a drain area and we were to act scenes. And I forgot what my quote was, but everybody had a quote. And then my little first scene was actually a shopping girl person where I'd go to buy some clothing and stuff. So that was my first experience of play acting.
Yeah.
For any of these other productions where Elliott and I met at.
Yeah. The other productions we did was pretty fun though.
It was, yeah, we had different fun plays back in the elementary school and years.
Yeah.
So, and then question 2. If you could have any superpowers, what would they be?
Is there any superpowers you want to have?
I don't know. I would say maybe just referring to a previous podcast answer, a princess, because I'm best known for that from my dad.
Is that a superpower? Really?
Sort of in a way, because you're trying to I don't know, you're kind of dressing up fancy and like flying over to rescue people and help them out.
Well, for me, I think have a good memory is my superpower.
I do have a good memory as well, so that just comes natural to me.
Yeah.
Question 3. What is your favorite place you have traveled to? I know what your answer is going to be for this one, Elliott. Or where would you like to travel to? The first part, I know you're going to answer as what? England, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
I haven't seen my family in ages, right?
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Where you like to travel to? I would like to visit Egypt.
Interesting. Well, I have traveled to Australia 4 times. Because my mother's side of the family is from Australia, and I'm half Australian myself. And the place I would like to travel to, if the restrictions can lift at all again, is England, because I haven't seen my aunt who lives there since I was 5 months old. And that's a very young age, and I don't even really know what she looks like in person.
Yeah, well,
I've only seen pictures of her.
yeah, well, it's gonna be a good visit.
What was your favorite TV show when you were younger?
You want to answer first, or should I answer first?
You.
Gosh,
You have more of that than me.
there's so many shows that I was younger.
Just
I
maybe
think
pick one or two to relieve too much thinking.
I think Pokemon, because that was a big craze when I was a kid,
Okay.
and I think also I liked this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Mm.
the 2003 version.
Oh. Well, I liked watching when I was in my teenage years, I liked watching Toy Story 1.
Yeah, the original one.
That was really funny, yeah. And when I was a kid, I was also a younger kid. I would also watch Sesame Street
Oh
and
yeah,
Barney and Friends. And I have a couple of characters I liked from each one. Like from Sesame Street, I liked Big Bird. Oh yeah, third one is Thomas the Tank Engine.
have you ever watched a show called Walking with Dinosaurs?
No,
It's really interesting.
I've never watched it. And so the Thomas and Tank Engine character I like is the uh I think maybe I would say Percy and a couple others that I don't remember of. And then for Sesame and then oops. And then for another one, Mr. Rogers.
Oh,
Um
that's classic. So
the
Rogers.
trains. I like the trains rolling around there, circling around with his favorite neighborhood song.
Yeah. There was a documentary and a biopic movie that came out a couple years ago, actually.
Oh wow. Okay, last question from from Megan is in US is, if you could meet any famous person, who would you choose to meet and why?
I would like to meet Chris Martin from Coldplay.
Oh.
And why? Because his first album when it came out in 2000 with Coldplay was a big hit with me when I was a kid.
Hmm.
And his song was called Yellow.
I don't have a clue for this one, but maybe Ryan Reynolds. So that's it for the emails. Thanks for those guys. We also have a quote from one of our previous guests from YouTube account. This is from Dayton, and he says from Vancouver, right?
Yeah,
And he says, "Thanks for having me, guys. Really glad we could shed some light on people living with disabilities, making them feel like they're not alone in this world."
that's true because everybody needs a voice.
Yeah. And I think that's just the main one, because the other one, I don't know if this makes sense at all. The comment that says, from Patricia Mendoza, that says struggling student to struggling human. That's the one. That's the most real thing. One of the most real things I've heard of in a long time.
Yeah, that's true. But
I'm not sure if that's really related to this, but that was just a comment there.
yeah. Talking about the podcast, we also right now, if you pre-order right now, we are selling shirts on our store.
That's right. It's so they're $25 each.
29. We changed it to 29 now.
29. Oh, okay. Why did we do that? Again, mailing reasons?
No, actually, it's just someone who's a professional person who makes t-shirts for a living told us the average price is 29 for shirts.
Oh, okay. Okay, so back up what I was saying, viewers. $29 each and per shirt. And it's all black with a white headset piece.
Yeah, and also we have a white version too.
Okay, but not as not as maybe I don't know how many people will buy each type of shirt.
But I just giving the word, like we have some orders.
And maybe we'll have orders of stickers at some point, right?
I asked the guy who can make some stickers if we want like a whole box of them, it will cost us like $200.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, just for stickers.
In a box. Okay, so that's all we have from everyone. Thanks to Dayton for posting his comment on YouTube.
Yeah.
People seemed to like our first season so far.
Yeah. If you guys like this episode, like, subscribe, and also share this episode to everyone, because we'd like you guys to share this to your friends, your family, your relatives, wherever.
Yep.
All right. See you next.
All right. Bye.
Bye.